Hello, everybody. Everybody, hello. Thank you for joining me um for the Sunday show. I'm Tracy, and well, you've seen him before, so he's back again. But before I get started, I got some bills to pay. Um, First off, as I start every show, I always tell my audience how long it is until the NFL season starts, and it's 193 days. Y'all, I say this, I said it last year, I said it this year. How am I gonna make it? How am I gonna make it? But I am pleased to announce that April the 23rd, I will be doing an NFL draft show. That is right. I will go with the first round only, and we'll talk about the NFL draft. But there's another show that I will need your help with. But before I get started with that, remember to subscribe to this show or this channel. I'm at 404 subscribers. That means I am 96 away from 500. Getting me to 500 helps me to get monetized, although that would be great. Hit that subscribe button, smash it, obliterate it, destroy it. Um, like, share, comment, subscribe. Like, share, comment, subscribe. We've got a heavy, super serious show. So, yesterday, if you watched, I did a silly show, but this today is totally serious. We're going to talk about the State of the Union address. We're going to talk about the BAFTA awards, fallout, and questions I have that have been asked before, but I think it's a really good discussion. And we're going to talk about, of course, the breaking news. And we'll start off with that first. When we went to sleep last night, it was all fine. And then we woke up this morning to find out that Israel, Great Britain, and the United States had bombed Iran. Before I give this is an Epstein distraction tactic thoughts. What are your thoughts on this unwarranted, non necessary? Why did it have to come to this action?
Um. Well, hey everybody. So, hmm, I I understand how we got here. Mainly, just understand for those who haven't heard me before. I try to look at things from the perspective of people I don't agree with or my opposition. So even when I say I understand it, it doesn't mean I agree with it, right? So the same people who have been trying to go to war with Iran since the 1970s, when America first, to my knowledge, America first interfered in their government as part of the American hegemony, right? We want to make sure that we can exert our power and influence around the world, and we mask that colonial nature by saying we're exporting democracy, right? Even though zero success with exporting democracy, unless you count Israel. So, um, and in my view, they don't have a democracy either. But yeah, so the same conservative movement that has been after Iran since the beginning, they just wanted to keep going. And so I hear people say that this is a distraction from Epstein, but Epstein won't go away. There's nothing you can do to make it go away. So I don't think that this war has anything to do with a distraction from that. I think it is um, whoa. Here's a. I don't think it's a distraction from that, but I think it is tied, and this is where my tinfoil hat comes out. I think that it is tied to the Epstein situation from the standpoint of there's a lot of compromising information that is out there that is used to keep these elites in check. So it's almost like you are joining this dark club, this exclusive dark club, like a mafia deep criminality type of thing. So we all get to have dirt on each other. And I think that some of that leverage is being used so that Trump can be forced to do whatever Israel says, even if he does happen to disagree. I don't know that he does, but he can be forced to play along, even if he doesn't want to. Um, and then Israel has had it out for Iran since the beginning, because Iran is the one that's like, no, look, you're sitting on stolen land. You're a brutal nation. I don't care what you call yourself, and we don't agree with you. Um, and from that point on, they've been labeled as being anti-Semitic and everything else, and they've become like this thing. So I see it coming. I saw it coming. That's all I can say. I knew eventually America was going to attack. Um, he's been saying this for 10 years, so here we are.
This, this, I'll tell you why I think it's a distraction from the Epstein files. Because unfortunately, I had the mispleasure of reading some of those files. I don't know if you've read them yet.
I'm not interested, so I'm not going to.
Um, I read it and it was like, this is the most, like, I had to literally stop myself because I found myself getting more and more angry that we're trafficking humans. And I call them babies, but they're young girls and young boys, not just young girls
No,
and
they were
young
babies.
boys.
Mhm.
Um, and to use that to get empower. Trump is all about appearances. He knows his audience has the attention of has no attention span. So if he can get their attention off of that and mold this into the argument, Iran has nuclear weapons. Well, guess what? Israel has nuclear weapons. The United States has nuclear weapons. Great Britain has nuclear weapons. Why don't they get rid of theirs?
And the only nation to ever use a, what was it, atomic weapon, but a nuclear weapon, has been America.
Yeah, we're the only ones that have ever used it. So I'm like, how do you? I keep asking myself, what did Iran do to us? I could almost understand if Iraq launched an attack. I keep saying Iraq, but it's Iran. If Iran had launched an attack on America, okay, that's justified. I know how some leftists feel about war, but that's justified. When your country is attacked, you have the ability to defend yourself. That I can understand. Iran did not attack us. There was an agreement that the only one of the few things that Obama did that I was like, yes, he negotiated that agreement with Iran for them to stop producing nuclear weapons at the level that they were. So he was moving in the right direction. Yeah, I know. I gave Obama a compliment. Yeah,
No,
I
no,
know.
I'm laughing because you made it almost 10 minutes into your show without attacking a Democrat.
I know, right?
Had
Yeah, I
nothing to
know.
do with it, but you still.
I'm saying a compliment, which is surprising to me. But he negotiated this Iran agreed to it. They were, and then Trump decided, oh, because I don't like Obama and he lives rent free. Obama lives rent free in Trump's brain. He's
Mhm.
like, no, I'll undo it. You did. Yeah.
I think he did it, one, because he wanted to unravel anything that Obama did, because he can't stomach the idea that a black man is better than him in any way. Um, but then also, he's a pet of big money and international money. So whatever Russia and Bibi Netanyahu tells him to do, he's going to do it. So this is Israel's war. Make no mistake about it. This is their war. It was poorly planned out. It was very transparent, because if you look at, leading up to the last strike against Iran, remember they had negotiations. They would arrange for a negotiation, and then once Iran's people showed up to wherever they were supposed to be negotiating, then someone would try to kill them. And they did that like twice. Okay. And so that was the first round. And then after all that, they still attacked them. And then they said, we all know the script. nuclear program has been obliterated, which obliterated means it cannot be rebuilt. It's gone, but it's been obliterated. Everybody said at the time, no, no, you can't obliterate it just by dropping bombs on it. So, but anyway, fast forward, restock your weapons, restock your munitions, um, double check your intelligence assets, and then take another swing at it. And that's what's happening right now. The entire purpose all along was Israel wants to break Iran. It wants to make sure that Iran is a failed state so that it can no longer be a counterpoint with its influence in the region, right? Because there's no other major Arab nation in that area that had the respect, power, and influence that Iran has. And where Trump, because he doesn't have a lot of nuance or background, he thinks they're just all Arabs. But no, the Iranians are Persians. So they have a unique line of history that keeps them separate than many of these other nations that you're messing with. So all this stuff is happening, and it is distracting. I just don't think that it's the distraction. I think ICE was a distraction. You know, all the stuff he does domestically as a distraction. But the war, I think that was a bloodlust and Israel using the U.S. to fight its battles.
And here's the thing that I just learned today. Apparently, no shocker, the generals had told Trump, don't do this. This is a bad idea. And because Trump is uh, not the brightest of bright, he's not a bright man at all. Everybody says he's so smart. Yeah, he's easily to be manipulated. I'll say it that way.
Yes.
He can be easily manipulated. He just said, okay. And something else he forgot. And the last time I checked, when you launch an attack, don't you have to have Congress approve of it?
Don't have to. That's the funny thing about our Constitution and the way that it works. Congress has shifted a lot of authority to the executive branch over the last 50 years, mainly over the last, say, 35 years, right? Since the first Gulf War. So all a president has to do is initiate an attack. The president can do that anytime he or she wants to because they have the authority when it comes to international situations. So the president can involve us in a conflict at any given time, anywhere he or she wants to. Then Congress is supposed to vote to authorize war. So right now, technically, America is in open conflict with Iran. And once Congress approves it, which unfortunately we have
Well,
APAC Democrats and we have Zionist Democrats who, I mean, the first one off the block was Fetterman, right? So they're gonna give them the authorization because they, not mainly because they agree with it, but because enough of them do agree with it. But then there's the others who are so wrapped up in the appearance and the history of the nation that they'll say, well, we don't want the fight of fighting our president at the same time our troops are out there fighting a war. Because what do? We don't authorize the war and he has to pull the troops back. Well, what if he doesn't do it? So now we got to fight the president, right? So they're going to do that because it's the easiest path. The easiest path is to approve the war and let it sit at Trump's feet, and win or lose is all on him. That's what
now
they're going to do because it's the
yeah,
cowardly way to go.
and in the background, I am reading this article by Time Magazine because I wanted to know that Trump had the legal authority to strike Iran. An expert explains it's a long article, but I want to read this one little section. It says United States and Israel plus the United Kingdom launched a sweeping military campaign against Iran on Saturday. They killed Supreme Leader, and I know I'm not going to get this name right, everybody, so
Just say the
don't say you
Ayatollah.
didn't get it wrong. Ayatollah It's the last name I can't get.
Khomeini.
Comernini dramatically
Khomeini.
escalate. Thank you very much. Escalating tensions in the Middle East, rising tensions, etc. Trump said that the operation would be massive and ongoing, blah, blah, blah. And they said here are the Trump strikes on Iran legally justified? And according to this expert, um, David Janoski of the acting director of the Constitution Project, he says the short answer is no. There is no indication that there is any sort of circumstances that would give president unilateral authority to order military action. It is true that presidents have some inherent authority to deploy military as commander in chief, but this is really limited to the true emergency circumstances where there is an attack underway that needs to be repealed or repelled, or maybe an extremely clear, imminent attack. Iran did not attack the US.
So here's the problem with the assessment you just read. If you really parse what he's saying, he said exactly what I just said. Because Trump didn't have to declare war. He could commit our troops to this fight, and he did. And now he's backing up our US ally. That's why Israel had to attack first. Israel attacked first, and then America immediately joined in, right? So that America wasn't the first one going. So now you have your emergency. It's all shadows and games. But at the end of the day, if Congress doesn't refuse to give him the authorization, it's the same. It just doesn't matter. Rules only count if the rules can be enforced. But anyway, that's my take on Iran. I don't see this ending well because they didn't take out the president of Iran. They took out the supreme leader. And the supreme leader,
two different things.
They are two different things. So the president is a political figure. The supreme leader is a political and spiritual leader. So the supreme leader sits above the president. So all you did was inflame religious believers, not just in Iran, but in the surrounding area. Because it's like going out and attacking a cardinal or the pope. You just did that. I don't care how you felt about whatever country, the pope might have been in at the time. You went after the pope, right? And so this is what the U.S. just did, and Israel just did. I always want to make sure I say Israel in it as well, because it is a combined effort. And before anybody takes it, where they're going to do whatever they're going to do. But I want to be very clear. I am not one of these people that you see on the left that hates Israel and hates the Jewish people. That is not me. Okay. I understand the difference between being anti-Semitic and being against the state of Israel. Okay. I oppose the policies of the state of Israel. I oppose Zionism, but I have no beef with Jewish people or the Jewish faith. I simply don't. It's hard to condemn all the people of Israel if you're not also going to condemn all the people of America. How would you feel if everybody condemned America, like me and you, who don't agree with Trump in any way, shape, form, or fashion, but we get lumped in? That's the equivalent of blaming everybody who happens to have the Jewish faith, So people need to be very intelligent about how they're doing this. This is a political and a zealot type thing, but Bibi is not seeking the approval of his people. He is doing what he and his circle want to do. And Trump is doing the exact same thing. Trump didn't even go to Congress. He didn't take any polls. He didn't do any of that. He decided, this is what I want to do, and these are the people around me who want to do. I'm going to do it.
And that liar, pants on fire. In his State of the Union, not you, Trump. I want peace. You get peace by ordering our military to strike a country that never attacked us. Again, Iran did not attack America. They are no threat to us. A 2025 report had shown that they did not have the ability that they used to have to produce nuclear weapons. What are we doing? He should have just said, you know what? I'm gonna just do whatever Israel says. I mean, that's what he should have just be honest about it. Just tell the truth.
But what part of anything that you know about Trump is honest? Like, I hear that. I hear that from a lot of different people about like just he said he was going to be the peace president, but you
I
knew he
didn't
was
believe
lying.
him, but people, that's why some people voted for him.
No, they
They
didn't.
really believed it.
They no. I promise you. No matter what someone says to you, pay it like you said in the past. It doesn't matter what someone says to you. Pay attention to what they do. Pay attention to their track record and their history. The people who voted for Trump, they didn't vote for him because they thought he was going to bring peace. They just say that as a deflection so you can't argue with them about what really drives them. The things that really drive them, they don't choose to say because they're not socially acceptable, right? But they instead of saying I hate all Muslims, they just say, well, get rid of all the immigrants. Instead of they're not going to be honest with you because they're not honest people. So what you do is you look at their track record and you look at how they're carrying themselves, kind of like how I view religion. You know, I often say, if you want to know what my religion is, what my faith is, there's no set of words that I can really give you. What my challenge to you is watch me. Watch what I do, listen to what I say, compare all of those things. That is my religion. Good or bad, that's my religion. As opposed to people who say, well, I'm this faith or that faith, but they violate it on a daily basis. In my view, you're not that thing because you can't truly believe it if your actions defy it on the regular. So
I
these
agree
people
with
can say
that
whatever they
statement.
want, but they're not what they're claiming to be.
I would rather, and you're right, Trump is not honest. He never has been. I would have almost just preferred, just come out and say, we do whatever Israel wants, whatever Israel says, we do it, we jump when they say jump.
But
Okay,
you
I
know
don't
that's what
like
they're
it.
doing. You know that's what
I
they're
know
doing.
they're doing, but I have literally, which again, me and Facebook are going to stop. I'm gonna have to stop reading some. I've
I
seen
love
F.
Facebook.
I've seen people post Iran effed around and found out like they're for this, and I'm just sitting there like, what's wrong with you?
So for one part of it is you still interact with conservative people. I don't. So
Yeah,
even if I was on Facebook, I wouldn't see that. I promise you I wouldn't see that because nobody in my circle would say something like that. But if you go into the comment sections, like in like a YouTube video, sometimes I go in there, right? Because I'm watching different videos and stuff, and you'll hear things like that. It's all deflection and projection and bravado. Even those people don't believe it. They just want to own the libs. That's their fun. That's their game. That's everything to them. So they'll come out there and say, well, Iran effed around and found out. That's because they want to trigger you. Or they'll say, strength through peace. That's a very conservative mantra that they have out there. Strength through peace, which means do what I say, or I'll just send you to your maker. And now we got peace because you're gone, right? Which is a complete violation of what I view peace to be.
yeah. I'm like, that's not peace. That's you being a war machine. Another, and this is my ultimate point. All of these conservatives always whining about we can't get universal health care because it costs too much. We can't do this because it costs too much. How come things for the poor we always are concerned about with, but war? Oh no, we'll just grab money out the dang on air. I'm like, really? Y'all really gonna do this today? Y'all really gonna do this today?
Yeah, what's once again, it's follow their track record and their history, and Republicans frequently start wars, right? They started the Iraq War, they started the
Desert
Afghanistan
Storm,
War,
Afghanistan,
they started
Vietnam.
was Vietnam started by them?
I
I'm
think,
not
oh no,
sure.
Johnson started, no,
Yeah, I
Vietnam was
think somebody.
Johnson,
I think it
and
might
then
have been a
Nixon
Dem that
picked it
started
up.
that one.
Yeah, okay,
Um,
Johnson started Vietnam.
but Republicans love starting. I One of the things I used to say, I haven't said it in a while, but here we are back in another war, so I guess it's a propos again. But Republicans create veterans; they don't take care of them,
Nope,
right?
sure don't.
So they're
You
going to
on your
send people
own.
to, yeah, they'll send people to war because they feel like, if they don't, they're wasting um, inventory. They're letting inventory age on the shelf. They need to get these bombs into circulation. They need to get these bullets in circulation. And quiet is kept. One of the largest industrial movers for America is the defense business, the defense industry. We sell weapons and machinery around the world. That's a lot of money for us. So if there's no wars, we're not making money. And each time America slides into a recession or a depression, there's a war that has to follow because that's what's used to juice the economy and pull us back out. Right. So if you're watching it kind of like on a broader lens, you can see that America is in a economic shaky spot.
Yep.
It's doing decently right now, but it's shaky. So go to war. That has always proven to bring money back, you know? So I don't know. I look at this and I say Israel wanted to do this because they have their own, the government of Israel did this because they had their own reasons and they've been wanting to do this forever. And they figure if they don't do it now, they may not get a chance. Um, and here
And
we
you're
are.
forgetting something else. They can't do it by themselves. Israel by itself cannot attack Iran. They
You
can't.
could, but
No,
why
they
would
would get
you?
utterly destroyed. Israel
No,
doesn't have.
no. See, that's the funny thing. Would they though? Because America's not going to take their hands off. Not going to do it.
If okay,
So
so let's just hypothetical. Let's just say Trump had listened to his generals that told him this is a bad idea. He wouldn't, but let's just say he did. I don't believe that Israel has the manpower, the weaponry. I don't believe they have the access. I don't believe they have as many nuclear weapons as Iran. If we're gonna go just weapons for weapons, their
Iran doesn't even
military
have
is
nuclear
big.
weapons.
Yes, they do. I
They
thought they
don't
didn't
even.
have as many.
Nope. Nope. There is no indication that
Then why are
Iran
we
has
saying,
any.
well, they got weapons and they got
Nope.
weapons and they
They've
okay.
been
So I
they've been
stand
saying for
corrected
30 years that
because I was
Iran
sitting
is
there
on
thinking,
the
oh well, they
verge.
got weapons. I just didn't think they had as many. But
Nope. They
but
ain't got them.
Iran's military is bigger than Israel's military.
Yes. But I think
So we're gonna go
Israel's military
military.
is stronger.
I'm gonna. That's where my argument's gone. I don't think so. I don't think Israel by itself could beat Iran by itself, like one on one. No.
I don't think in a head-to-head protracted war that could do that. No, but they wouldn't fight that type of war. What Israel would do is they would rely on their strengths, and their strengths are things like cyber warfare, clandestine activities. Right? Israel has proven that if they want to get to somebody, they will get to you. I don't care what hole you hide in, what building you're buried under. If Israel wants you, they will send Mossad or whatever dark ops team they got. They will find you. They will get you. So when you look at military prowess, Israel, I believe, is stronger as far as like their skill set than Iran, but Iran is bigger, right? So it would become, are you strong enough to still withstand this larger force? Well, in a head-to-head competition, who knows? Probably it would be almost like America going after Iraq, and it would just like cut through it like butter. But then, following the battle, the insurgency or the resistance would kick in, and that part Israel couldn't win. So Israel relies on their big brother, right? Call in Big Satan to come in, help out little Satan, and now
I'm glad you said
you
that
got.
because I was like, yeah, that's just the word for them. And here's the other thing that I don't want people to lose track of. Again, we can No country should own nuclear weapons. In Tracy's perfect world, nobody would own nuclear weapons. Since what you said is true, that Iran does not have nuclear weapons, we know Israel has them. We
Hmm.
absolutely positively knows
We just don't
Russia
know how
has
many.
them. We just don't know how many. We know China has them. We know the United States has them.
Hmm.
Could this possibly lead to what I hope it does not? A bigger war with China?
I
Because
seriously doubt.
we make the Chinese the enemy, and they're just like, we don't want war with them. They have literally said we don't want war with the United States, but we keep kind of wanting it. Like we want war with China.
I think that some of the posturing is like that, and I think out here in the cheap seats we think that, but I don't think that that's true. China is literally the only other major power on the planet that can carry its weight with America, and China is like, I look at China like China's been a nation and a power for like 1,000 years, so they're an old culture. They're not getting into this game with these little upstart kids called America, right? So I don't think that that's really what it is. The fight between America and China will almost always be economic, and it'll be like geopolitical. But as far as like going to war, that's like assured mutual destruction. America got nukes, China's got nukes, they got different positions all around the world. I just don't see that part happening. The only reason
Mm,
they're
mm.
attacking Iran is because Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons. America and Israel and no any power, Russia, you name them, nobody is fighting another nation that has nuclear weapons. We don't have a track record of that. What we do have a track record of is you're not allowed to have them. Don't have them. Hey man,
But we'll
I
have
ain't
all
got
the
them.
ones we
Cool.
want.
I'm coming for you
Yeah, we'll have all the ones we want. How come nobody has said, America, what you should do is get rid of your nuclear weapons?
because that wouldn't be smart. That's not the world we live in.
I mean, we're
America
not
is
going to
actually,
listen to them.
think about this. I think I froze. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, you're
Okay,
unfrozen.
sorry. But America isn't even part of the non-proliferation treaty, I don't believe. I'm pretty sure America chose not to sign on to that. Let's see. Is the US part of the non-proliferation treaty? Yes, it is. Okay. So Trump has been threatening to pull us out of that. But yeah, it would honestly be, in my view, foolish for America to unilaterally disarm. I just don't. That's not the world we live in. America grew up going around the world beating other people with a stick. Okay, and so now I'll put it like this: it's like a bully thing. When America was in elementary school, it kind of stayed to itself. It kept all of its abuses in house. It did slavery, it did genocide, it did all those different things, but they kept it in house. They did it here. And then they fought the little wars to gain some other land, like they fought with France a little bit, made a deal, got the Louisiana Purchase, stuff like that. But they kept it in house. World War II, America didn't even want to join that war. There was no humanitarian angle that America took to join World War II. World War II happened because Japan attacked Pearl Harbor and because Germany kept attacking ships out in the ocean that was messing with the money. So between those two things, that's what pulled America in. It wasn't to help save the Jewish people who were being suffering atrocities in
No,
Germany.
because they had prohibited the Jewish people. They didn't want them here in
They want
America.
to let them come here, right?
That's why they created. That's why they split. That's why they split Palestine and Israel the way they did.
Yeah, because America didn't want to let them come through Ellis Island or anything like that, but they worked with the rest of the Western world, so other colonizers, and they went and they decided to do what they did out there where they are now. But America doesn't do things for humanitarian reasons. That's just like what it is. And America, like I said, elementary school kept to itself, but in middle school, it ran around beating up other people and taking their lunch money. That's what America did, right? Because it was the biggest kid on the block. Because after World War II, America and Russia came out of that the two strongest things on the planet. So they had to fight with each other. So that's why we had the Cold War and all of that. But that's when we got all these nuclear weapons and everything that you know.
Right.
So now we're in high school. Everybody's big now, right? Some people got weapons. They can fight back.
Mm,
America cannot, after what it's done to these people all of their lives, America can't say, you know what, guys, I'm done. I'm I'm a tank. I'm not even gonna have nukes no more. I just want to be a peace loving nation. And we'll just leave everybody alone and just be good neighbors. No, because you got grudges out there.
you've done so much evil. Then you got to worry about other countries saying,
They
okay,
coming.
so you did this back to us in 42. Oh, we're going to, and that's what I hate. That's what I absolutely hate. But before we move on to our next topic, I want to talk about the April 5th show that I just put up. Y'all know I do an Easter show every year. Every year I do one. I've done it for the past, this is my fifth year doing it. I was no, fourth year doing it. And so usually I ask the Easter trivia questions. But this year I'm changing it up. I want someone to challenge me and ask me Easter trivia questions. I want somebody out there who's watching me to challenge me by asking Easter trivia questions and see how much does Tracy know about Easter. I think I know a lot about it, but I want you to challenge me because I want to change it up. I've done the same thing, and I've always gotten Marlon and Thea to do it. Um, and I've asked them questions. No, you guys did my Christmas show trivia questions. You have never
I
did the
don't think I've
Easter.
been involved in the Easter. I don't think you want me involved in Easter, so I'll take a pass on that one.
Why not? All you're doing is asking me questions. You're not giving an opinion. You're just asking questions.
Because most of my questions are pointed. So, mm-mm.
Anyway, so if you think you know
But
any,
y'all give her some questions and chime
yeah,
in because she's actually very responsive. So please, yeah.
mm-hmm. So that is what I'm doing for the Easter show. And if I don't get any, of course, I'll do my whole spiel on why it's my favorite holiday. Because it is my actual favorite holiday. And then Thanksgiving is a close second because Thanksgiving you just get to eat for no reason and you just eating. That's all you doing and watching football. So I love that. But anyway, I'm gonna keep reminding you all. Let me know if you want to be a part of it. You get to ask me Easter trivia questions and see how much I know. I may not know. I don't know everything about Easter. I know a lot, but I don't know as much as I think I should. So just keep that in mind.
Hey, before we leave the Iran, Israel, America thing, I do want to say this, and this isn't just like a PSA, but I guess it kind of is. Every time America goes to war, at least in my lifetime, America quickly falls into deep racism and bigotry. And I implore, I'm sure the people who watch your show, they're not going to be like this. But perhaps when a troll comes across your video and decides they want to be hateful, let's not, right? Like, this isn't about attacking Jewish people. This isn't about attacking Americans. This isn't about attacking Iranians. Let's not go and pull up slurs and all of those different things. We are dealing with three governments, and they're now at war effectively. Um, Argue on the merits of what you believe as far as whether they should be fighting or not be fighting, but let's not go into the racism, xenophobia, and bigotry. It's just not necessary, and it serves no purpose.
Absolutely. I agree with you there. So we're going to move on to the BAFTA Awards. Now, for you all that don't know the BAFTA Awards, and I never say it right, that is the British equivalent to the Academy Awards. It is their version of our Oscars. kind of, but a little bit lesser. Well, anyway, they had a ceremony. And the two presenters, and I never get this man's name right. I'm not going to get it right this time, but it was Michael, either A, B, or C Jordan. I think it was Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
I can never remember. I'm like, is he A, B, or C? And that other guy is the other guy's name. I can never get right, but I can see his face. Like I see his face, and I can't never think what his name is. It's that other guy. Well, anyway, they're both African Americans. So they were presented an award. I think they were like the first up. And a person that suffers with Tourette's decided it was a very appropriate time to drop an N bomb. And
Delroy
after we,
Lindo.
thank you. I was like, what's his name? What's his name? I can't never get that man's name right. And he's played in so many movies. And I'm like, his name is something. But so this, and the person that dropped the N bomb is a Tourette's activist. So he tries to rally support around learning about Tourette. Yeah, I know you got that same look. I think we're gonna be pretty much on the same page about this. One of the primary things is people are defending the man that dropped the N bomb.
Mhm.
I don't understand why they're saying, he has Tourette's. We need to be understanding of this. And my argument is this: I have diabetes. Diabetes is also a chronic disease that well, I can control it with diet, but you can't control Tourette's. I have, I jokingly use my diabetes when I have a bad temper. I have never ever said a racial slur, a homophobic statement, and used my diabetes as having, I've never used it as an excuse. And I wonder, how did we get to this point where actors are saying, and they're white actors, are saying, he's got Tourette's. We need to take this into account, and we need to be cognizant. He couldn't help it. This is what he does. I just don't think this is an excuse for me. I don't understand. Okay, you got Tourette's. It's a sad thing you got Tourette's. But what made you say that word? Where did you learn that word from? Did you make a decision? Was it, and I don't understand everything about Tourette's. I really don't. But I just can't buy well, we need to be compassionate and we need to understand he has no control over it. You may proceed.
All right, so I'm going to preface this or lead into this with I really don't care anything about BAFTA, Oscars, any of those things. Personally, I believe that the way our Black creatives have been treated for a century now, in these award shows and everything like that, is warranted enough that we shouldn't care. We shouldn't participate. We should do the art for the art, make the money for the production, do those things. But the award shows, have them mail you the statue, right? I just don't see why we continue to care about awards programs that historically and perpetually minimize, tokenize, or in this case, allow for the abuse of our culture and our identities. So I just don't care about it. And then as far as I didn't know the angle about the Tourette's thing, I find it mildly curious that when someone uses a word of violence like that towards these two men who have done nothing to anybody, they're just actors. Now we got to find a way to cushion the blow. Well, no, he's got Tourette's or whatever. Okay, got Tourette's. Okay, that's a you problem. First of all, did you blurt out at any other time during the award show?
Yeah, and that's
Or
the strange. I'm about to cut into what you're saying. Apparently, this man is known for saying inappropriate things like all the time and using his Tourette's to kind of cover it up. So I'm like, this is a pattern
That's
to me.
that's fine, but the program had been going on. You've been in the audience. What was it? Because with Tourette's is basically a tick or an urge that grows in your head, and you don't have the ability to truly control it until you release. And the release is the verbal thing in this case. But that means that at no other point up to that point were you being triggered, was your condition being triggered. And then in that moment, your condition was triggered. Okay, I'm going to take I'm going to take it for the purpose of discussion that you have no control over the fact that you now have this urge that you're struggling not to release. But you didn't have it at any other time during the program. Okay.
Mm-mm.
So there was something about this moment, this environment that triggered something in you to let that out. So you may not have been able to control that it got out, but it can't come out if it's not already inside. Period. So I give you no pass. I give you no pass. But having said that, I still find it hard to care too much because me being me, I literally do not care what these people think of me. Their words don't matter. So if you're not saying something positive or you're not saying something encouraging, I simply don't care. So this person says the N word. Who is he that it matters to me?
I think the reason I was upset about it, well, there's two reasons. I'm going to get to my second reason here in just a moment. Not only did he say the N word, it was the defense of him saying it that made me. I'm like, you're defending this. If I don't even know if there's a white slur that I can even use. I don't even think
There are a
there's
lot of them,
any.
but we don't use them though.
I don't even. I don't know any because I'm just like I can't think of any word that I could call a white person to be like Tracy. You shouldn't have said that, and I come up with, well, you know, I got diabetes, so I just say anything I want to
So
say.
well,
No,
I don't want to attack the condition because that's how
no,
they get
I
you into a
don't.
trap.
Tourette's
No,
is
that's how they get you
Tourette's
in a
is a
trap.
real issue.
Yeah.
But my thing is, I'm not gonna just let you. I'm just not gonna. You were wrong. If he had issued an apology and said, you know, I shouldn't have said that. Well, okay. He said something. It was his seat. I
That
would have
wouldn't
said,
matter.
"Hey, okay," and we could be done with it. No apology. Just I have Tourette's and you have to accept. No, because I happen to be aware of people with Tourette's and none of them have did what he did. If they say something inappropriate, they're gonna apologize for it.
Yeah, but
And you
you're going down, in my view, the wrong path. In your own way, you're trying to find a justification. You're trying to make sense out of this so that you can then be able to process it and let it go. And what I'm saying is that's not the right path for us. Not at this stage in our history and this stage of the game. We would stop centering the opinions and thoughts of the random white person, then we wouldn't get as upset when the random white person says something offensive, right?
see
It's
that's where I
only
disagree
because
with you.
we are like, wow, how could you say that word? It's such a bad
No,
word.
mine is the
And it's
defense
like,
of it.
yo,
Mine is the defense. I know people say that white people say the N word all the time. I say whatever you want. It's the defense. Like, well, he's got Tourette's and we should just nah,
so let me
nah.
give you that defense in another way that you've almost certainly heard it. He's old.
No,
He
this man
doesn't
was
know
is
any
not old.
better. No, not this person. This person they
Oh, but
use
yeah,
that.
he's old.
But
He's
but
over
whenever they're
70.
trying to
Never
tell
gonna
us
change.
to ease up, to not push for the maximum consequence for someone hurting or offending us, it's always some kind of have pity on this person. It's always on us to be the bigger person. It's always on us to find a way to help them through their ignorance so that they can ultimately come out the other side a better person. what other group gets the benefit of making mistakes that way?
Yeah,
Okay.
we don't get that benefit.
So if you can't do no other non-white, like you got to be in the white tier to be able to even be excused for being temporarily ignorant or temporarily offensive. This all goes into this politically correct era that we're sitting in the moment, where they say, well, don't be so politically correct, man. So he says something a little off color. It's usually not when they say the N word, but when they say a different word, right? Or they make a different expression. Like they say we're all on welfare or something. It's like, well, you're being too sensitive. You're getting hung up on the words. No, I think that, I mean, they're right. A lot of us are getting too hung up on the words. I have gone past that part in my development. I'm not worried about your words. I'm focused on your sentiment. I'm focused on your intent. And your sentiment and your intent goes way beyond your words. So you don't have to use the N word with me. You can use any of your other microaggressions or side sly comments, and it's the equivalent to me. And I would judge you on that and dismiss you accordingly. So I think the two gentlemen, they did exactly what they were supposed to do. Stone face. Because I'm rich. Who are you? Right?
Here is the other problem I had with it. This was not a live program.
Yeah, they could have
This
edited that
is
out.
they literally edited two directors that said free Palestine. So they edited that out, but
Mm-hmm.
just by some racist British version of the KKK, they thought, yeah, leave that N word in there. You couldn't have edited it out.
See, that once again, it goes back to you got to learn how to uncenter them. And if you learn how to uncenter whiteness, and this isn't an attack on whiteness, I think people are people. I think every group should be proud of who and what they are. But I'm just saying, if you as a black person can find your way to uncenter them in your life and center your people in your life so that everybody can now be on a more even keel like they do, then you would find that, yes, that was offensive, but it wasn't offensive to them. So they now can look at the individual. All right. So this individual says this thing. It's deeply offensive to those who descend from enslavement. Okay. Deeply offensive. Right. But to them, it's not. To them, it's impolite. So it's impolite. So how do you address when a child or a loved one does something that's impolite? You try to minimize it, isolate it, and address that. So that's what they did here. This person said something. Ooh, we can't really make any excuses for the word. Oh, but he's got Tourette's. So we can shift the focus to
Yeah.
his disability.
And that brings up another issue that I didn't quite talk about. Gavin Newsom got some slack because he said he was in front of an audience and had said, he was trying to relate to the black people in the audience by saying, he had a 960 SAT score. And
Oh gosh, not this one.
yeah, I thought, now look, y'all know I am not, here come me criticizing the Democrats. I am not a Gavin Newsom. He's creepy. I don't like, no.
What is it? Okay, real quick. What is it that you don't like about Gavin Newsom?
First, he is somebody, I can't really define it, but he
No
just
one can.
irks me.
That's the reason.
It's just something. It's the same problem I have with Tulsi Gabbard. I say it's this, but it's something, and he
And
don't
that is
flow with
no
me.
better. That's no better than MAGA
I
not liking somebody for being black
I didn't say it
or
was
not
any
liking
better. I'm
somebody
just
for
telling
being a
you what the
Democrat.
fact is. I'm just giving you facts. I didn't say I was
You're not
right.
giving
I'm
me
just
facts. I'm pushing you because I'm pushing the people out there. I hear this all the time because this is how we keep putting our foot in our way. Why can't you vote for Kamala? I don't know. It's just something about I don't like. Why can't you vote for Kevin? I don't know. It's something I don't like. Why can't you vote for so and so? I don't know. It's something I don't like. Okay, why don't you like Trump? Well, he's a racist. Well, he's a crook. Well, he defrauds charities. Well, he might be an alleged pedophile. See, you can name things for him, But when it comes to these other cats, I
I'm
don't
just telling you,
know.
I'm giving you facts. You mean you don't gotta like, I'm just telling you, Tracy not saying. But what I will say is, I don't believe he had a racist intent when he said it. There's a difference between what he said and what that man with Tourette's said. They are different
Night and
because
day.
they were both, yeah, they're night and day. I don't believe that Gavin Newsom, yeah, I'm saying something, another positive thing about a Democrat. Y'all, that's two in a row. I can't, I,
Well, this isn't saying
but
something positive. This
I
isn't saying
don't
something positive.
believe that I don't believe he was suggesting that black people were stupid. I don't think that's what he was saying. One, you got to listen to the whole interview and listen to the question that was asked. He was trying to relate and say, hey, I struggle, you struggle, we're all in a struggle. That's what he was saying. He wasn't saying that black people are stupid. He wasn't saying I struggle with
It's
dyslexia.
a very similar thing to what happened with Tallarico. Very similar.
It's kind of similar. It's very similar. It's very similar. But just watching the whole thing, I'm like, nah, that's not the one with Tourette's. He knew exactly. He's been known to do that. That man to walk that road enough times. I'm like, yeah, you knew what you was doing. Again, I don't think Gavin Newsom had those intents. He was not suggesting, in my opinion, that black people were stupid, that we were unintelligent. He wasn't saying anything like that. And I know for my leftists out there, I'm defending a Democrat and y'all just not gonna like it, but I just gotta say what I think.
And that's cool. And I'm glad you said that. But see, here's my thing with I'm just using the Gavin thing, right? People just want to be oppositional. They just want to be offended. Let me just be real. There's a point where you're just being extra. Okay. Now, I would say, and this is proven, if you as a especially as a black man, because I can't speak for black women, if you have interacted in like really interpersonal extended periods of time with well-meaning, decent white people, eventually they're gonna say something tone deaf as hell. They're gonna say something that you're gonna be like,
Wait a minute, what word did you just drop on my podcast?
hell,
No, that's not allowed.
it's a place.
Boy, if you don't stop.
I apologize, but they're gonna be tone deaf, and I think that I'm gonna lean on the great Malcolm X, and I'm paraphrasing, but he basically was saying that not until the black man and the white man can sit down in discussion with one another and not be concerned with being offended by each other can you say that we've approached brotherhood, right? So long as I have to be perfect in what I'm saying to you and you can disregard all my intent, if I have to be like that, then we're not having a real conversation anyway, right? So this part, what he said was tone deaf, and it was awkward, right? He was trying to relate, but he wasn't trying to relate like that. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think
Like it was just,
this is a Fox News. We're gonna interpret it this way, and everybody just ran with it. Because
right.
I'm
I
like,
don't like
he's
Gavin,
literally,
so whatever he says, I'm going to take the
yeah.
worst interpretation
Yeah,
of
I'm
it.
gonna take the worst. And again, y'all know I'm not here to defend. Y'all know I don't defend a Democrat normally. Yes, in this instance, I'm defending a Democrat.
But why does that matter? Why does it matter that he's a Democrat? Why? What if
I
he was a
don't what?
third party person? I would hope you'd have the same assessment. If he was a
Of course I
Republican,
would,
I
and
would
I'm gonna
hope
be
you have the same
harder on them.
assessment.
I
Right.
would be harder on them.
So you are not defending a Democrat. You're defending a man who said something. And technically, you're not really defending. You know what I'm saying? But
Hey, hello, let's connect. How are you?
yo, it's good. But it's
But
like we big we everything ain't about politics sometimes, folks. Sometimes it's about real life. And if everything has to be painted in red team, blue team, right there, you just give up, man. Just give up because you ain't here to have a real conversation with anybody. You're really here to just beat up on somebody or wait for somebody to agree with you.
Yeah, I couldn't understand why some the black conservatives were. I'm like, y'all
Black
fishing.
conservatives.
Like, y'all really, first of all, y'all normally deny y'all black. So let's just keep it a buck. Y'all don't like being called black. Hi, twins. But you deny being black. But when somebody Democrat says something, now you black. You black now. Oh, okay. I see how you doing.
It's all
I just
situational.
thought, yeah, it's very situational. I'm like, look, he was again, he was not talking to, he was not saying black people are stupid. Listen to that portion of what he was actually saying, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
But
So
now he does still deserve to be called out for being awkward because he should have said something else. I think it's fair
oh,
to
he
point
should
it
have
out.
said something.
I just think it's wrong to take it from here and dial it up to here just because we can use it as a political weapon, and that's what's being done.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, this is really stupid. Um, but the last topic of the evening, and Diaz, you're probably not gonna have a whole lot to say about this, but I unfortunately had the displeasure of watching the entire State of the Union address. I didn't watch it live. I went back the next day and watched it. And I didn't do a live show. Normally, I would have did a live show, but for some reason, Trump decided to talk 2 hours and 20 minutes, and I wasn't gonna put y'all through that. I said, absolutely not. I'll just sit here. I'll take one for the team, and we can go from there. I don't know if you watch clips. I have never heard anybody ramble, be incoherent. I don't like calling people stupid. That's a word I don't like using. This man is not all the way there. There were points in the speech where he would just go on, and he would go to a topic, leave it, then come right back to it. There were there was yelling by both sides. And that I thought, y'all know y'all got to. I'm tired of congressmen dropping f bombs. It's like y'all need to stop that and do something besides drop f bombs. I did appreciate Al Green bringing his black people are not apes. You didn't. You didn't. I did because I thought, we're not. We're people.
Okay, so just on that, who are you talking to? When you put up that sign, who are you talking to?
He was talking to Trump.
Okay, he was talking to Trump. So Trump's and the people who support him, their opinion means so much to you that you needed to make a sign about it. It matters that much to you. I need you to see me as an equal. I need you to see me just like you. Nah, blank you. You know what I'm saying? Like, why?
I don't think he could have
Dude,
had a sign
all
that
the
said
stuff
blank
going on,
you because he would have gotten kicked out.
all the stuff going on right now, and you chose to make a sign to decry someone depicting someone of your group in a racial way. All the stuff going on.
I see
You
where you're
got
going.
ICE. You got
I see where you're going. I
you know
see
what I'm
where
saying?
you're going.
But you so concerned about what this man is so important to you. It hurts you so much that these people refer to your hero like he was a monkey. They've been calling us that since the beginning. You weren't mad before, you shouldn't be mad now. And if you are mad now, which is fine to be, you're telling me that is of all the things, that's the one. That's the one that you wanted to.
Here's the
I
other
find people
thing
like
that
that. I find it very disappointing.
see, I see where you are now because I thought, well, I felt like the people who boycotted, who said they weren't going to come, I think they took the easy way out.
I think they did the responsible thing. I think
No,
that none of the
because
Democrats should have shown up. These are
see,
not
that's
normal times. These are not normal times.
here's what I would say why you show up. This is what I think they should have did. Now we remember Al Green made some outbursts during Trump's State of the Union
Yes,
address.
and they
I
walked him
think they
out.
should have did exactly the same thing. And when one of them got expelled, then the next person should have got up, and then the person after that, and then the person after that, and then the person after that, and continue. I think sitting it out, that just don't. I mean, you're supposed to be, in my opinion, the opposition party. Act like it. You can't be opposition sitting at home.
Yeah. So here's what I think should have happened, because what you described, that's how they should have responded the first time. It shouldn't have to be scripted and decided. It was, this man spoke up. They made an example out of him. So now you got to come get me. You got to come get me, and you got to come get me. And we're going to keep this going. And it's going to ruin the flow of your entire State of the Union as you walk each of us out of here ones and twosies at a time. Right? That's what should have happened the first go round.
We got somebody that agrees with you.
Yeah.
We got somebody that agrees. Let's Connect agrees with you. He says the influence
Thank
of the
you.
room would have screamed the
This
loudest man.
is
I don't
not,
agree with that. I
it's
don't.
not a normal time. It's not normal. So you sitting there and treating this man with the respect that he thinks he deserves, that's a flaw on you. Like, what is your presence going to do? Huh? What is your presence going to convey? What will be the story is the fact that none of the Democrats came to the State of the Union for the first time in recorded history. And not only that, but they had gotten with a independent
And you
person
know
like,
good well John Fetterman would have showed up.
well, fine, but that's fine. Nobody claims him anyway. But there would have been like 5 Democrats that showed up. It would have been Jeffries, Schumer, Fetterman, and like 2 or 3 other people. But all the rest of them should have been on something like Crooked Media or Mehdi Hassan or somebody, some independent media platform, and the Democrats should have been right there holding their own town hall, fighting and protesting against the crimes and the abuses of this administration. That would have been better than you just sitting there like, well, I'm just not going to clap. That'll
Here's
show
what
them.
I would have did. See, I would have shown up, but I would have got accusers in the Epstein files and had them as my guest. That's what I would have did.
What would that do? Trump did that. Trump did that to Bill Clinton when Hillary was running. How much use was that? Right? The Democrats have invited her to, I mean, when Pam Bondi was testifying, the survivors were in the courtroom there. What good was that? See, you're wanting a show, but my challenge is, who are you trying to entertain? What message are you trying to get across? That I can be as petty as you, so I'm going to bring some people and use victim as props. I'm going to bring these victims and I'm going to use them as props to show you I don't like you.
Well,
it's like you're re-victimizing them because they're still not getting nothing. Like, that's why I don't know Left Connect, so I can't really say that he's with or against or whatever I'm saying. But for me,
no, he seems to be pretty much in your corner on this one.
Yeah, but for me, my thing is, you need to decide what you're after and then conduct yourself accordingly. And showing up and behaving like every other year does not convey anything. It does nothing. It won't even hold the media cycle. Nobody's going to talk about it very long. But you know what would happen if like none of the Democrats were there? Even Fox News would have to cover the Democrats failing in their responsibility to be the big people in the room or be mature or something, but it would have got coverage. This gets no coverage. You came, you sat down, and you were little wimps, and I'm going to look on with a stern look of disapproval.
And so here comes my next question to y'all, because apparently I was wrong on this, but I still think they should have showed up. They should have showed up and then, well, not walk right back out. But I didn't like. Well, here's what I'll ask. So let's just say they had that. Which Democrats do you think? I mean, we know Maxine Waters didn't show up. We know AOC didn't show. We know, I think there were like maybe 10 to 12 Democrats that did not show. What's the rest of them excuse?
What's the rest of the Democrats excuse?
The ones that chose to come.
Yeah. So I think that their excuse is party solidarity. So they have a leader. They have Chuck Schumer and they have Hakeem Jeffries, and those two said that if you don't want to come, don't come. But if you do come, behave. So they were doing what their leadership asked them to do. That's what I think is their reason why. Um, I think that it's important that we stop shifting the goalpost as well. So much energy is focused on what the Democrats are not doing, and I think it's fair. You should point out the fact that they are weak and they are inept, right? But remember that they are also in the minority. So the only thing they can do is make noise. They can't stop nothing. They can't slow nothing. They can slow a few things, and they are actually slowing a few things, but they're procedural, so we don't get to see them, right? But
Right.
they're doing what they can in the most minimalist way that they can do it, right? They're doing it as business as usual. Like this is just another opposition to the opposite party's president, right? That's how they're behaving. They're not behaving like this is an existential crisis in America. So I think all criticism is due there. But at the same time, if we already have these opinions of the Democratic Party, which I do, why are you expecting something else out of them? Like you're being you, not you, Tracy, but just if that's what you're doing, the Democrats aren't fighting hard enough, and the Democrats are weak, and the Democrats. We knew this. We knew this. So what you expecting? All of a sudden, Chuck Schumer is going to become a hero? No, right? I don't know what kayfabe means.
I don't either. That's
I
how I
need you to
put it
break
up
it
there.
out
I'm
for
like,
me,
oh,
man.
yeah, yeah. You gonna have to say the left. You gonna have to. Well, I know that's Rodney, but you gonna tell me what that means? Because see, here's the thing that I would say. Let's just say I was in Congress. I'm not. I'm not running. I'm not running. I'm not running. But I was in Congress and I'm an independent. Well, first of all, they're gonna put me on the worst committee that they could possibly find to put me on. I'm gonna be on that committee that talks about aliens and whatever. Oh, WWE fake wrestling. Um, I would say that that's why I came, right? And that's what I keep hearing Democrats say we need to fight, we need to fight. And I think some of us to their left are saying, okay, when you gonna start fighting?
But they're not even your team. You don't like
Yes, but
them.
they want.
You
I
don't
don't.
support
But I'm
them.
saying, but they right. But I'm saying they want me to vote Democrat. Let's just keep it a buck. They want me to vote Democrat. They're trying to say, Trey, you got to stop voting this.
No,
And
the
because I
reality is they
literally,
don't care. That's part of the
I,
problem.
but they rather me vote for them than a Republican.
Yeah, but they'd also be just fine if you just don't vote.
Well, yeah, that's true too. That's a good point.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So that's like you don't support the team. You not only do you not support them, which is one thing, you are an active opponent and aggressor towards the Democratic Party. There's nothing they could ever do that would please you, that you know within their realm of behavior set, right?
Mm-mm.
That they could ever do that would please you. So why are you going to sit here and pretend like they're disappointing you? They've already disappointed you, right?
That's them.
You're expecting a turkey to behave like a
No, I'm
wolf.
expecting if I hear them saying we need to fight, okay, then fight. You're
They're
saying
fighting their way.
their way is not effective, and they know it's
Agreed.
not effective.
Agreed.
Now
But
that's
it's
what
their
my
way.
somebody needs to listen, Democrats. Y'all know I ain't for y'all. It's gonna be hard for me to sit here and vote for y'all in the primaries. I'm almost thinking about sitting it out, but I probably won't.
And see, this is your show. So try to be diplomatic about it. But I just do not understand. Like, even even with what we're facing right now,
Mm-mm.
right? They have already intruded upon women's rights of their autonomy.
Yes.
They're trying to get laws passed. The only reason they can't get the laws passed is because their what do you call it? Their margin is too narrow. They need a couple more Republicans. Republicans keep dying
Right.
and leaving, right? So they just need some more. So you got the women's
You can't
issue.
understand why I won't vote for a Democrat.
It's not even
Why I'm
about,
hesitant.
no, hear me out. It's not just about voting for a Democrat, because I don't like them either. I want the Democratic Party to go away. Okay. But I don't want them to go away before there's a better option. Right. So as long as the Republicans are ascendant and they are literally chasing people through the streets, they are literally killing people in the streets and then making an excuse about it from the presidency. Okay, this isn't like the sheriff saying, well, we'll look into it. But no, this is the president. Okay, so it doesn't matter. We got war in Iran. They're going to not just take over Gaza, they're going to turn into a resort and excommunicate the Palestinians from the land. It wasn't bad enough they were killing them. Now they're going to kill them, and whoever's left, they're going to just shove them out into who knows where. They want to make sure that women can't even vote coming forward. That's literally their platform. They want to get it back to the white male is the voice of the family, and that he will be the one who gets the vote. They want to do that. They want to get women out of public life. More black women have lost their jobs since this guy came into office than at any concentrated time in known history in America. And yet, with all of that, I can't vote for a Democrat. Well, then why you got an opinion? Like, why are you wasting your time? Because
That's
ain't
what I
nothing
would
important
say.
enough. I'll say
You know
this. I'm
what
gonna say
that
this and I'm gonna
sounds?
stop. There's nothing important enough to you and people who vote like you to want to do something better for yourself right now.
Here's how I'm going to respond to that argument, because trust me, you're not the first person that has said that to me. It sounds like, well, we don't have a choice. Let's just
Didn't say that.
accept it. That's what it said. I said what it sounds like. I didn't say that's what you were saying. I'm saying that's what it sounds like when I hear it. Because that just means, well, just take anything. And then once we establish something better, when I know that they're trying to stop something better from being established. Because let's keep it a buck. Democrats keep Green Party candidates off the ballot. They spent $20 million
Green Party ain't
because
better than nobody.
I'm just using them as an example in this. They spend money to keep third party
Yes,
candidates
they do.
off the ballots. They do it in
Yep.
local, they do it in national.
Yep.
So we if we can't never establish something better, well, then I might as well just vote Democrat. Just hope they do. Nah, I'm not gonna do
So
that.
that's where there may be some ground to be made up. I would say for those on the outside, the third parties and the I just don't want to vote because I don't like my options people. Okay. I would challenge each of you to step beyond your feelings and think through what you're after. Okay. Because I think you're on the right path, but you're refusing to think through it because you know if you think through it, you're going to run into some really hard situations that are going to challenge the way you've dug in. Okay. So I am saying that the Democratic Party is not a good thing. I am saying that the Republicans are horrid and the Democrats are bad. Okay. And I am saying that we need something that actually represents the people, more of the people. Okay. And I think the ground is fertile and ready for something like that. But none of the third parties, and I've been looking, none of them present that as an option because they don't have a clear governing strategy. And they're so full of this is what I don't like, this is what I don't like, that you never get to what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. So I'm saying build that. Shift your energy from being a victim and look more towards what do I need to do to take over. because that is the way that a Mamdani moves. A Mamdani and a Sanders and an AOC, their mentality politically is not one of being a victim. Well, they won't let me on stage. They won't let me do this. They won't let me do
Okay,
that.
so
No, their thing is, I'm going to infiltrate the Democratic Party and I'm going to start stealing support from them. And they're going to have to start to listen to me. Now, I get not wanting to go into the Democratic Party.
yeah,
Fully
I
get
don't
that.
want to go. Oh, yeah.
So do the hard work to build the alternative that you claim is better. Because all I keep hearing is there's something better, but you can't present me the better. You can't tell me, well, what would you do different in the real world to address what's happening with women in their health care? How would you get this thing you say should happen? How are you going to get that through Congress? How are you going to get that to a veto-proof status so that you can get the law passed? How are you going to take over state governments or city governments? How are you going to protect people's access to the polls? How are you going to do anything? All you have is, well, it should be better. I agree. But you know what should be better ain't on the ballot.
Here's where I'm going to argue with you again, because I don't think in this, you may take it as at you, I don't think people that think the way you're thinking want. I just think they want to vote Democrat, and that's what they do.
I don't want to
And
vote for Democrats, but I
because
refuse. I refuse to vote for somebody who has no plan. Like I'm not going to vote for somebody who
when
can't
you
do the job.
when you
Your
say a plan,
resume does not say you can do the job.
but that's the point. So that's what I'm trying to get at. So let's just say last Thursday, I had a fantastic guest. He's running for state assembly in the state of Texas. He's in a highly progressive district. It's basically going to be him and the Democrat. I thought he presented what was a good plan. Are you talking like a detailed plan where you say, I do this, or are you talking about the presentation of
Give me
a
something to vote for.
platform?
I'm saying give me something to vote for beyond
That's
stale
what I don't.
platitudes.
I
Beyond stale
guess that's what I'm
platitudes.
not. That's what I'm not understanding when you say give me something to vote. That's where I'm not understanding what you're saying.
I'm saying that of the things that I laid out, as far as the circumstances that are currently facing us as a nation and politically, you're telling me those are not important enough to you to change your voting behavior for this. I'm saying, well, then fine. What is it that you're offering for someone to make that kind of decision your direction? What let's say, because I don't know if he's declared, it doesn't matter if he is, I'm just using that as an example. Let's say Dr. West was going to run for president again. Now, that means he's got about, what is it, 2.5 years, right?
2.5 years.
So realistically, in my view, third parties, y'all don't get time off. You don't
Nope,
get
you sure
to
don't.
you don't get to wait until the year of the election to finally start trying to raise money and raise your profile and do all that, because now it seems like a money grab. And that's what people have written the third parties off as right now. So you got to change that. You got to be always grinding, always moving, always showing up. But no, they don't. Because if they did,
no,
Dr.
because
West
you're
would be on
forgetting.
something right now.
No, but you're forgetting something. You're forgetting a very important component of running a presidential
CNN won't let them on
candidate.
TV.
No, ballot access. If you can't get on the ballot, it is very difficult to write somebody's
So how do you get on the
name
ballot?
on a ballot.
How do you get on the ballot?
So what state? Because every state doesn't. I'll tell you what Indiana does. I'll tell you what
Go ahead.
Indiana does, because Indiana's the only state I know about. In Indiana, you have to have technically 37,963 signatures to get on the ballot. That's what you
Okay.
have to get on the presidential ballot. I'm going to give you an example of a person that she had more than that. Jill
Because you
Stein
have
had.
to.
Yes, that's what you got to get to it to be on the
Because they're
ballot.
going to fight every signature on that thing.
Right. So Jill Stein's campaign got 50,000 signatures.
Okay.
That's what they gathered. Guess what they did to those signatures?
They took it to court and they tried to get almost all of them kicked out.
So they got him kicked off. But here's the problem this is what you're not getting in this. Maybe I'm not saying it right. The Green Party does not have money to keep going in courts and in courts to fight because that's the only option that a third party has to have. That's why
Okay.
Dr. West, he made the ballot in Georgia. Dr. West got enough signatures in the state
Okay.
of Georgia to appear on this ballot, but the state of Georgia said no. The campaign did not have enough money to go to court to fight those ballots. That happened in Pennsylvania, that happened in
Mm-hmm.
Georgia, that happened in
Yep.
Arizona, that happened
Yep.
in some states he didn't even come nearly close. So I'm
Agreed.
saying I agree with what you're saying, but you're missing the our
I'm
point
not missing that.
is ballot if we can't get on the ballot, it's gonna be real hard for me to say,
All
hey,
right.
write his name in. First of all, they gotta spell it exactly the way they spell their name. I mean, exactly. They can't miss a letter, they can't miss a nothing. Second, who
Their signature
nobody's
got to
gonna
look how it looked when they signed up, all that stuff.
right, but that's what I'm like. Wait a minute, you got ballot access. That's to me is the core problem. We need
Mm.
to change. Every state needs to change its ballot. Every state needs to be like the state of
How do you
Louisiana.
fix that? All right, because you're telling me what's wrong with it. Tell me how you
Yes,
going to
I said
overcome it.
okay. So I basically think every state needs to be like the state of Vermont. In the state of Vermont, if you get 10 people from 10 different counties to sign a petition, you're on the ballot. No questions about
But
it.
that's not going to happen because states run their own elections. So, given the world
Right.
that we
That's
live
why I
in,
said
given the world we live in, how do you change the fact that you have these obstacles to getting on the ballot? Because that's a real concern.
yeah, there's only really one way. There's a whole lot of you got ranked choice voting. That's one way. Although ranked choice voting in Indiana is illegal, um,
So you can't use
and
that.
you can't use that. We can't go to the courts because we don't have the courts. Would seem like it's a good option, but when you don't have very few attorneys practice ballot access law, very
Okay.
few ballot access attorneys will take those cases. So we had to find more of those.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have to, well, actually, we have to raise more money. That's pretty much
Mm-hmm.
what we got to sit here and figure out. Hey, we need to raise money for a defense
So
fund so
after
we can
all
go
these
into court.
years, after all these years,
Now,
third parties ain't figured that out yet. Because here, I'm gonna give you some free ideas. These are free. Okay. We live in an independent media environment. More Americans get their information off of YouTube and Substack than they do from any of the major media platforms. The people who do watch major media platforms for their news are all old voters and they already have their own voting profiles set and established.
and you ain't
Okay.
gonna change their mind.
They ain't changing, right? They 70, 80 years old. This is what they doing. All right. Now, but the people who are 60 and below, they're online. So if you want to get more signatures, if that's a hindrance, free idea. You need to get more platforms dedicated to the third party space where you're not just repping your one little third party, but you're repping the third party ecosystem. And now you have multiple influencers like yourself who are out there talking about it on the regular. And not only that, they're explaining that we need to get these signatures. Here's how you sign. Here's where you go to sign. If you need someone to meet you at your church and we'll meet you at your church or whatever it is, help people accomplish the task you say is a problem, right? Because knocking on doors, that ain't gonna get it because it's scary and dangerous. And
Yeah, I was gonna
two,
say, you really want to.
right? And then two, you knock on the door to my hi, I'm with the Green Party click, right? You don't even get a chance to say what you're trying to
And
say.
I did that. I actually did
And
that.
I
And we
applaud
got a
you.
lot of signatures. Well, I mean, I wasn't campaigning for the Green Party because Dr. West ran as an independent, but I did
Well,
do
that's
that.
he did run for Green first, and then he moved to the other one.
Yeah, did you
But
move?
right, all in one election cycle. So I'm saying that doesn't speak well to people like me. All right, but be more about that. Like the third party ecosystem needs to be built. You
So
need
in
to
other
Go
Right.
ahead.
So, in other words, are you saying, and what I think you're saying, and please correct me if I'm wrong, are you saying, for example, in Indiana, because again, I always go Indiana, it's where I live.
That's not where
We
you
got the
are.
Forward Party, we got the Libertarian Party, we got the Indiana Green Party.
Hmm.
All three of those parties say, hey, we're collecting signatures. Like all three of them want to run a Secretary of State candidate.
Hmm.
Are you saying all three get like cross, like Green Party gets Libertarian, Libertarian gets Green Party? We all just
That's
kind
right.
of,
I'm saying that you're going to have each candidate run their campaign, right?
right?
But part of what helps the Democrats, part of what helps the Republicans is they have a machine. They have the DCCC and whatever versions they got floating out there that fund different places. You shared funding is an issue because we're trying to grow this thing from the grassroots, right? So, where do we have free space? We have free space right here on YouTube. You got free space on Substack, right? So, use it. So when I say that the multiple independent parties, where they come together is they have their spokespersons show up. Let's say you have your channel, right? And each of those parties, Green Party, Forward Party, Justice for All Party, their representative, maybe not their candidate, sometimes a candidate, but they come on there and they talk and they big up what they're trying to do and they try to explain why they're better than another third party candidate, not why they're better than the Democrats, not why they're better than the Republicans, because that's not the fight you in right now. The fight you're in right now, I need access. So let's get out here. Let's talk about what we are, what we stand for, what we're after, why it is that you should vote for us, and why you should look at third parties as an alternative to the duopoly. Right? That's one thing. Other thing is each party, Dr. West, for example, he would have his own platform. And on that platform, he has a monthly town hall or he has a monthly Q&A. And that's just what he does to help raise his profile. But he's doing that constantly, not just the last year of the cycle. Because when you do it the last year of the cycle, like I said before, to me, that's a money grab. You are not serious. You are just here to raise your personal profile. You are here to sell books and get on somebody else's channel to get paid appearances. So that's what I'm getting at, right? And then you say you need money. Well, the same infrastructure that's telling you I need your signatures and things like that. At the same time, you can say, hey, if you see this candidate and you want to support this candidate, here's how you donate to this candidate. Here's how you donate to this candidate, right? Be creative, guys. I mean, you've been at it for too long to not know what I just said. So it's really old to hear nothing but why I can't. If I need you to be the alternative to these two parties that I believe are truly hurting this country, that are truly just pulling us further and further apart from each other. If I truly believe that, which I do, then I need someone who's going to come in and actually do something. And I can't rely on somebody to come do something when all they can tell me is why they can't do anything.
But you do recognize there are barriers.
Yes, I do. And I'm saying, I
Okay,
just told you how to overcome two of them.
I'm not saying you didn't. I just want you to get at the core of it. How as a
Yes.
volunteer for the West campaign, no, I'm going to put myself in the Green Party's candidate. They literally got way more than what they got more than what the state, and then the state
Okay.
was like, well, we go just throw them away. And knowing that they don't really got the money to fight.
And these things build on each other. See,
right.
Part of what you're saying is part of what I used to hear during the last election cycle from a lot of independents and young voters. It's like you literally expect people to just get out your way. You're a threat. What you
I
present
know that.
is a threat, right? Right now, there's only two people in the game. There's only two teams. There's only in the
I would say
whole.
one team, but you'll say two.
Not because you're wrong. Flat out, you're wrong. Because they're not the same. They're not the same.
I believe
when has a Democrat tried to take away your bodily autonomy?
They didn't try to take it, but they haven't encouraged it either.
Nah, being for something and being against something, two different things. You're trying to say not being successful in beating something makes you just as bad as the one who actually did the thing. Well, if that was the case, then that would incriminate your parties and your interests too. So you can't say they're the same when they're not doing the same thing. It's just not true. It's simply not true. We got to dig deeper than this. We're at a time in our nation's history where some things got to shake and got to quake. And we can't get there if we're just going to use like little slogans and sayings. Well, they're both the same. Well, if they're both the same, then you're telling me that how Gaza turned out is exactly how it would have turned out otherwise. You can't say that. You can say it would have been messed up either way, but this is a whole nother thing. You can't say that we would have tariffs that destroy farms and raise prices on everybody's groceries the way that it has. You can't say that. You can't. Like, you're making things up to satisfy a preconceived notion. You don't have to make things up when the truth is already bad enough.
I want to get to some comments because Left Connect just made a comment that this is what I was actually trying to say, but I'm going to just get to this because I hear this all the time on my MMT meeting. The problem is capitalism. You ain't never lied. We must tear it down and have a dictatorship of proletariat. I cannot pronounce that word. Thank you. We just can't vote our way out of this mess. Organization outside the electoral process is how things change. I agree with that. Here's what I think we ultimately need right there is a revolution. Yeah. I'm just saying I agree with this.
I challenge you, Tracy. You said ultimately we need revolution. What is revolution?
What we do? It's changing the entire government.
What would it take?
That's the part I don't know.
Are you willing to take? I hope you do not answer this question. It's a rhetorical question, but are you willing to take a life? Are you willing to die for what you say you believe in? Are you willing to watch children in hospitals, an entire ward of NICU babies, just not have any care because there's no electricity for the hospital? Are you ready for this type of death and destruction that's raining down in Iran as we speak? If your answer is no to any of that, you're not serious about revolution. Revolution is not nice. It's not pretty. It's not patient. It's not kind. Revolution is bloody. Revolution is dangerous. It's loud. It takes everything you think you've ever had. You're not going to work. You're not going to have police monitoring the streets. This is what revolution takes. Now, personally, if you want to go to revolution, because I'll go wherever my people go. So if my people are ready to actually go through revolution, I don't agree that we're ready for that, but I'll go with you because I'm ready to answer the question to every last one of them questions. But the problem is a lot of people calling for revolution ain't never thought about revolution. They think it's a cute idea.
Yeah, right? Maybe that's where I'm at.
So I'm saying build this thing, right? Stop pretending like you're doing. Stop confusing being busy with being productive. Right now, the third parties are busy. They're not productive. You want to be the alternative to this goofy duopoly we got? Then build the alternative. Stop whining. Stop crying. Stop hiding. Stop it. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. Ain't nobody gonna back you with that. You know what I'm saying? Because I got kids to feed. You know, so you telling me let's go through revolution, and that means that now what? As soon as I label myself a revolutionary and my job fires me, now who gonna feed my family? You got an infrastructure to feed my family? You got a soup kitchen ready for me? No, you gonna pay my mortgage for me? No. So now we ain't ready for revolution. So, and if you're not ready for revolution, then you got to look towards, all right, what are some other alternatives? Other alternatives are going to be slower. So now we're going to look at build the infrastructure, right? How do we have localized clinics and localized food stores and food pantries so that those of us who have financial means, even though we're not being loud about it, we're systematically sending money to those things so that we can take care of our community when things get rough. That's revolutionary, right? So it's like, guys, I get it. You don't like capitalism. I get it. But the problem isn't capitalism. Capitalism is a word. Capitalism is a theory in a process. Socialism is not the solution to capitalism. The problem is and will always be humanity. We choose to abuse each other. So, you want to give me something better? Show me how you can do something better and you can help take care of my family. Because it doesn't help me to feel good and I got to starve.
Yep. Next point. Now, this is what I actually wanted to say, and I love the people who comment because
That's a true statement.
um they always say what I'm trying to say, but better. They are not the exact same, but they work together to keep progressives away from political power. And we definitely saw that's what I was trying to say. And y'all know I don't always hit my words the way I want to hit them.
It's not that.
That's what I was trying to
It's
say.
not just that, Tracy. You're not alone. So please, people out there, do not get it construed. I've known Tracy for years. I love Tracy dearly. So this is not me coming at Tracy. I am pushing Tracy because of how much I care about her. And I don't like when she's like going off on a halfway statement. But I get it, Tracy. I do. It's just when you say that they're the same, full stop, that part is wrong. And it creates way too much noise in the system. But what your commenter said, yeah, they're not exactly the same. They're both corrupt. You know what I'm saying? They're both actively trying to keep any threat to their power out of the way. It goes back to the analogy I was starting with like, this is the NFL, but there's only 2 teams. So worst case scenario, I didn't win the Super Bowl. I was in the Super Bowl, right? And that's how these 2 parties react to each other. Oh, you beat me this year, I'll get you next year, right? But there's no honesty amongst them. They're just competing against each other on nonsense. But then here you come, you want to start a whole new team and come to the NFL with it. I had a 50-50 chance of becoming the Super Bowl champion and a 50-50 chance of being the runner-up. Here you come, and now I might not be in one of those 2 positions. You really think I'm going to just let you come up in here?
Yeah, I know the opposite, and I appreciate that, even though I'm not like expressing it, because I can't even say what I'm wanting to say. I get where you're going, and in some parts I agree with where you're going. Um, um, and I'll say it that way. Oh, Nelson's in the house. Nelson is it? Nelson. We need to have a third party independent primary to elect the best socialized Democratic candidate who can we can all agree to get behind and work together to fight to get into office. I think that's what you've said before this.
I
Um,
100% agree with that.
then Kalia, who was on here last week when I had all those questions about the Green Party, and I actually went into depth. If you haven't watched last week's episode, I actually touched on why I personally left the Green Party and where I feel like they can make up the difference. Um, and Kalia was very patient and she didn't go off on me, and I really appreciate that. Not only are they corrupt, they're also complicit. I think it's the complicity
I
that just
agree.
that's what gets me. I'm like, when I'm just watching you just let them do anything and you don't put up no time. You just okay,
Well,
we're gonna
no,
write a
they
strongly
put up
worded
a little
letter.
bit of something, but at the end of the day, they don't stand to lose anything.
Yes. Capitalism is not just a word, it's a concept and action being forced on us. And socialism is the answer. You already said it's not, so we're not going to visit that. You already said socialism is not the answer. I'm just trying to get to these comments. And if the 2 parties were our parents, Republicans are the violently abusive father, and Democrats are the mother who makes excuses and covers for them.
Agreed.
And you agreeing with that? Okay.
I agree. See, it's almost like the plantation theory, right? No, I'll not even use plantation because that's too loaded. We'll go with a prison type of thing. The the Republicans want to put everybody in jail that disagrees with them. All right, if I can identify everybody who disagrees with me, I'll just lock them behind the walls. And then now I only have to convince the people who already agree with me. That would be the ideal world for a Republican. The Democrats, on the other hand, are saying, well, I don't want to put everybody in jail. And if they're in jail, we should at least make it a little bit nicer for them, in jail. But now we ain't got no plans to get them out of jail. And we definitely don't want to give them the right to vote while they're in there. Right. Like that's the Democrats. The Democrats are all mealy mouthed and that I call Democrats mercenaries. They will take up any cause you want as long as you pay them. The Republicans are ideologues and zealots. They're not motivated by the money. They'll take the money. Goodness knows they'll take the money. But that's not what they're after. They want domination.
Yeah,
and
they
that's
want
what they're
clear
going to go after.
domination. And then when Democrats get it, we can't do anything.
Because they're mercenaries. They ain't got no heart. They're not after nothing. The Democrats legit just want to make money and be comfortable. That's it.
Which is why Roe v. Wade was never codified.
That's not why it wasn't codified, but that's why there was no sense of urgency. They just took for granted that it's here and here we go. We're good now. There's no need to go and revisit this because if we revisit it, we might lose. So let's just pretend everything's okay. Meanwhile, the Republicans are like, yeah, I'm going to get that.
Yep. And next week's show, I told you all, I told my sister this because I asked her a question and I'm going to ask you all, not on this show because this is a whole different hour discussion. But I want to talk to conservatives next week. And I've been asking conservatives this question. And I keep asking them because for the most part, the most of the conservatives I know, they are pro-life.
Are they never Trump conservatives? I mean, yeah, never Trump conservatives or
no? I'm just going to call them conservatives. That they voted for Trump because Trump lied and said that he was going to make abortion legal. This is what he told the evangelicals. And I want to ask the evangelical conservatives a question next week. If the Republicans have the House, the Republicans have the Senate, the Republicans have the White House, the Republicans in some regards have the Supreme Court. How come there's been no legislation to make abortion illegal in the United States?
Why has there been no legislation for that? No legislation no legislation, period. They ain't passed nothing. So why is there no legislation to help make your life better?
I'm talking to evangelicals on that question because I keep hearing them say, well, he's against abortion. And I'm like, no, there's reports that he paid women, allegedly, because I ain't got lawsuit money, to have abortions. And I really seriously want to ask them this question, and we will talk more in depth about that next week. We're not going to do it here. Because I'm like, you have everything at your disposal.
Because they weren't serious. They're not serious about anything. That's why you got to watch them.
Did I not just say we're going to talk about this next week?
I'm just saying. I'm sorry.
Tell everybody where they can find you.
So we're on a little bit of a hiatus, but I hope we'll be getting back soon. I am very inconsistent, folks, out there when it comes to recording.
You did 2 in a row, though. I was like, oh, wait a minute, look out.
Yeah, I've put out a little bit of content lately. So you can find me on my channel, which is Complex Mind, Simple Man. So that's where you'll find my content. Where if you want to figure out what I think, why I think, and a little bit more in depth, if you enjoyed anything that I had to say today, check that out. And then on Saturdays, I'm usually recording with Radical Truth to Power. So if you look for that on YouTube, you'll find our Saturday shows.
Yeah, and it wasn't on yet last week or the week before.
Yeah, Marlon hasn't been feeling well lately. So
yeah, that's right.
We're taking some time off.
Get well soon, Marlon. This is true because, boy, when I hear Megyn Kelly say, well, it's not like they're 8. Girl, bye. Girl, bye.
They're split, but notice they're not that split.
Because they're okay with him. Yeah, he's like, it's not.
I wouldn't even go so far as to say they're okay. I call it like the sunk cost fallacy. They they are so in deep into red team, blue team, right? Like it's their identity at this point.
Yeah.
So they will sit there and back anything as long as it's their team. Even if they don't agree with it, they don't believe in it. If you caught them on a one-on-one, they'd be like, nah, I don't believe in that. But if you're going to get out here in these social media streets, or you're going to get on TV, they have to back their team, because at the end of the day, it's red team, blue team. And so that's where they are. So they don't agree with this. They don't like the abuse of minors and all of that, but they don't see where it benefits them to help their team lose. It's kind of like the white women's vote. Every year we hear about white women being offended by this or offended by that, and they're gonna separate from their men on this and
They
separate.
never
And
do.
every election, they come on home.
They vote Republican faster than you can say what every time. Everybody, I'm gonna let Love Connect have the very last word.
Thank you,
Good
sir.
guest. Nice to meet you, Theus. I am so glad I had this discussion because now you've given me some things to think about, as always. Of course, like, share, comment, subscribe. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Join me this Thursday, March the 5th at 7 p.m. for the Tracy Show. We're doing really well with interviewing third party candidates. We've had a really good discussion. That's going to continue because we're booked all the way up until May. So we got them all lined up right behind the other. So we'll have some good guests. There's going to be a project that I'm working on with some other third party um, supporter podcasters that I won't talk about today. I'll talk about it on a future show. But thank you for watching.
Hey, Tracy,
Thank you.
before you sign off, may I
Yes.
ask you? Because believe it or not, you've been wearing on me too. I'm considering looking up the Georgia Green Party and seeing what they're about. Because of the third parties I've looked at, they're the ones that seem to make the most sense for me. It's between them and the Justice for All, but I'm not really feeling Justice for All for a couple of reasons. So I'm going to check them out, because I'm going to do the same challenge that my boy did to me a few years ago with the NAACP. I had a lot of negative opinions of the NAACP. And so he said, if that's how you feel, then you need to show up and see for yourself. And I did. And it changed my view and understanding of what they do. So I might check out the Georgia Green Party. But from what little I've seen and where I have looked, I'm not impressed. So, but let's see.
You see what here's what you could do. If um wait a minute, Kalia said, wait a minute, hold on, we got a connection. She said, let me know. And I'll see if I can send you info because she's with North Carolina. She's with the North Carolina Green Party.
Okay.
But she would know the contact in Georgia.
Okay.
She probably would. So yeah.
Appreciate that.
And I got both of y'all's emails so I can just hook it up right there. See, that's what I
Yeah,
see.
because
I'm useful.
I don't want to just be against, because I don't like people who are just against things be against things. And I have done research and I've checked out a lot of things, but sometimes you got to go and touch it and be like, hey, what are you actually doing? Because what people think you're doing isn't always the same thing as what you are doing.
And that town hall meeting thing, we gonna be working on that in the next couple of weeks.
Awesome.
I
Sorry to
just don't
interrupt.
know how I'm gonna put it in there. That's okay. But again, everybody, I'm at 404. I have decided to pause because normally I did the 100 subscriber show, the 200, the 300, but I'm not going to do a 400 because I want to wait till I get to 500. I want to wait until I get to 500 subscribers to do the 500th subscriber show. It's been a long time, y'all. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell Republicans, tell Democrats, tell Libertarians, tell Justice, tell everybody to subscribe to this channel. This is the only channel that I know of that interviews third party candidates on a consistent basis because I have been very consistent about it. And for you all that say, Tracy, you're too serious, I can throw in funny topics. I did it yesterday when I ranked the Legion of Doom, and I had a really good time doing that. But subscribe, 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 subscribe. I'm gonna just keep saying subscribe. We really trying to hit that 500, and it helps me to get monetized. And I can do super chats. Like, see, I can start receiving. I can't get there till I get to 500. 500 is the goal. Let's hit it. I'll see you all Thursday, 7 o'clock p.m. with our guest. He's going to be fantastic. I think you all will enjoy him very, very much. Have a great one. And remember, when you don't see what you like, make it better. That is your responsibility. Have a great one. Bye bye.
Thank you, everybody.